Hello students, I am Dipali Devi, your geography teacher. Today I am going to discuss about the second chapter, the second part. The name of the second chapter is Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife. Today I am going to discuss about conservation of water resources. Most probably all of you have taken your textbook in front of you and you see the lines first, the textbook. The conservation of water resources. Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. Steps have to be taken to conserve this dwindling resource. Even though water is a renewable resource, its overuse and pollution make it unfit for use. Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents in water bodies are major contaminants. They pollute water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. Most of these chemicals are non biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitable before releasing them in water bodies. Forest and other vegetation cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. Water harvesting is another method to save surface runoff. The canals used for irrigating field should be properly lined to minimize losses of water seepage. Sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. In dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. The valuable water source can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of irrigation. The major problem of today's world is shortage of clean and adequate water sources. Out of the total percentage of water bodies, only less than 1% clean water, pure water, we can use in our day-to-day life. So we should conserve water bodies, and we have to conserve the water bodies for our future generation also. This is the main problem. The major problem of today's world is shortage of clean and adequate water sources. The clean and adequate water sources are the ponds, the rivers, the lakes, like that. These are the sources of clean water bodies. The seas and ocean water bodies, always it is the salty or the saline water that we cannot use in our day-to-day life. The steps should be taken to conserve water. The government also taken some steps to conserve water bodies, and the human beings is the main responsible to conserve water bodies for our day-to-day life. Water is a renewable resource, but its overuse and pollution make it unfit for use. Already we know that the renewable or the non-renewable resources, water is lying in renewable resources, but due to the result of the overuse or used carelessly by the human beings, these water bodies, the water resource will turn into the non-renewable resources in future. Sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial waste pollute the water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. These are used by our human beings for the purpose of industrial purposes and agricultural purposes, and the sewage. These type of chemicals like the nitrates, metals, and pesticides is a mix up with the water bodies. So we have to conserve it. Forest and other vegetation cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. Water harvesting method can also be used to save surface runoff. Canals used for irrigation should be properly checked for water losses through seepage and evaporation. Rainwater harvesting is the process of collecting rainwater from rooftops and directly it to an appropriate location where it is stored for future use. The rainwater harvesting is the process of collecting rainwater bodies. There are some of the people in different places. They collect the rainwater from the rooftop by making some reservoirs, making some tanks like that. They can collect to conserve water bodies and directly it to an appropriate location where it is stored or for future use. That it is a process that can conserve the water bodies directly, the rainwater bodies. Sometimes the people, for example, the deserted areas people, dry areas people, they are suffering from lack of water. Like that, they can collect the rainwater from rooftop and they can collect the water bodies directly by making some tanks, making some wells like that. Recycling plants should be installed to conserve water and to stop wastage. Recycling plants should be installed to conserve water and to stop wastage. Then if we recycle the water bodies, then we can stop the wastage. If we stop the wastage of the water bodies, we can conserve for our future generation. Better irrigation facilities should be developed to conserve water. Then in a scientific way, if we irrigate water bodies to our agricultural field in a scientific way, then we can conserve our water bodies and it will be developed, the process. Next, natural vegetation and wildlife. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in this biosphere. In this biosphere means the earth is the only planet that having land, water and air. That due to the result of the land, air and water in that world, then the natural vegetation and wildlife is possible. The life is possible. The narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere is called biosphere. Already you know it. In the biosphere, living beings are interrelated and interdependent on each other for survival. This life supporting system is known as the ecosystem. Then in class 7 we discussed about the ecosystem and already you know it that the biosphere, in biosphere reserve the earth is the narrow zone having the land, air and water, and in that narrow zone, in that biosphere, the plants and animals, they are related each other and they are interdependent on each other, and this is the life supporting system and it is known as ecosystem. Plants provide us with timber, shelter to animals, produce oxygen, protect soil for growing crops, act as shelter belts, give us fruits and vegetables, help in storage of underground water, etc. That these are the positive side of the plants. The plants provide us timber. The plants are related with the life. the animal beings or the human beings for the life, that they can use timber from plants, they can make their shelter, especially by the animals, produce oxygen by the plants, protect soil for growing crops, and act as shelter belts. That means the shelter belts, they can protect the wind directions from coming from the outer part of the world, give us fruits and vegetables and some medicines also given by the plants, help in storage of underground water, etc. The wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, and aquatic life forms. They provide us milk, meat, hides, and wool, help in pollination of flowers, act as decomposers in ecosystem, etc. Natural vegetation is a renewable resource, but its judicial use is must. If not utilized in proper manner, it can lead to loss of life and further more calamities. Wildlife and natural resources, wildlife and natural vegetation make a deep connection, so preservation of both can be done simultaneously. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in the narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. That is called having only the planet Earth. It is possible. In the biosphere, living beings are interrelated and interdependent on each other for survival. This life supporting system is known as the ecosystem. The wildlife means what? Wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, as well as the aquatic life forms. Then you see, they provide us milk, meat, hides, and wool. Insects like bees provide us honey, help in pollination of flowers, and have important role play as decomposers in the ecosystem. The birds feed on insects and act as decomposers as well. Phalsa, due to its ability to feed on dead livestock, is a scavenger and considered a vital cleanser of the environment. So, animals, big or small, all are integral to maintaining balance in the ecosystem. So, the students, this much for today. Then we will discuss distribution of natural vegetation in our next class. Thank you.